Investigators say that the mass shooting inside that small church in Texas was not a random act of violence. They say Devin Kelly's ex-wife and her parents occasionally attended services there at the church in Sutherland Springs. Now, they were not there yesterday morning when police say he walked in and opened fire, killing 26 people in all. President Trump says he does not view this attack as a gun control issue.
I think that mental health is your problem here. This was a very, based on preliminary reports, very deranged individual, a lot of problems over a long period of time. We have a lot of mental health problems in our country, as do other countries. But this isn't a guns situation. I mean, we could go into it, but it's a little bit soon to go into it. But fortunately, somebody else had a gun that was shooting in the opposite direction. Otherwise, it would have been as bad as it was. It would have been much worse. But this is a mental health problem at the highest level.
WBZ political analyst John Keller is here with us tonight. And so, John, the next question logically is, if it's a mental health issue, what has the administration done to address mental health issues?
Well, so far, Paula, not much. In fact, one of the first things D.C. Republicans did when they took control in January was to scrap a safeguard against gun access for severely mentally ill people. Otherwise, there's been a lot of talk, but very little action.
One thing that we seem to know is that Devin Kelly was a person with some mental challenges.
But what Texas Governor Greg Abbott and the Trump administration don't seem to know is what to do about the deadly ability of the violently deranged to get hold of weapons of mass murder.
President Obama is expected to expand background checks for purchases at gun shows. What do you think of that?
Well, I don't like it. I don't like anything having to do with changing our Second Amendment.
President-elect Trump back in January, just weeks before Congress repealed a new rule ordering the Social Security Administration to share with the gun buyer background check system its list of recipients deemed too mentally ill to handle their benefit checks. And a search of the White House website finds scant mention of mental health issues beyond pro forma proclamations, a vague statement marking Suicide Prevention Day, and several mentions of Second Lady Karen Pence's interest in art therapy. In July, new VA Secretary David Shulkin expanded the reach of mental health services for veterans with other than honorable discharges who seek treatment, a service that might have helped Devin Kelly had he sought it out. But it's not enough for Congressman Joe Kennedy, who accuses the White House of, quote, trying to take mental health care away from millions of Americans. And for now, all we're getting is lip service.
So this is a very profound issue that our country must begin to address more profoundly.
Yes, profound thoughts, but really empty calorie rhetoric lacking any real substance, and that's pretty much par for the course on this issue when it comes to Washington.
And of course, most people heartbroken for all of these families in Texas today and focusing on that. But as we've talked about before, even President Obama was not able to accomplish any new gun control legislation after the Sandy Hook shooting, even with Congress.
Right, even with Democratic control early on in his tenure there, it's complicated. I don't think anyone argues that it isn't. Dealing with mental health in a broad-based way would require a lot of money. It's legally complex, and the political will isn't there, certainly not with the gun lobby wielding as much clout as they do.
John Keller, thanks so much, Liam.